Welcome back. I'm King Link, and this is the second video of the King Link Review Awards. Now, if you haven't seen it, I already gave the Worst of the Year awards out, and if you want them, I'm going to link that at the end of the video so you can, of course, just click there. But with the bad, I think we also need to praise the good, and my 2019 reviews had some amazing games. Now, I think we have to have a few ground rules, and I'm going to be extra clear because people got confused in the previous video. This isn't limited to games from 2019. It's the games I actually reviewed in 2019. Simple fact is I don't rush to review games. Sometimes I review games a year or two later, but if it's still a great game, why are we not giving awards to them? I'm limited to the 60 or so games I reviewed this year. I'm only counting my personal full reviews, but realize some games might not be from 2019. I mentioned at least 3 games here that are, if not more. This also isn't about score. While I did give it a perfect score out to a few games this year, some have not made this list. This is a personal opinion for this list, whereas my scores is about recommending the game to others. I didn't really love Heart of Iron, but it's such a good game that it deserved a 4 out of 5, especially for people who love that genre. But personally, it wasn't for me. Now with that said, let's get a few honorable mentions out of the way. First honorable mention is a perfect example of why I think we should give games a little time after release before we review them fully. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Now, this game is great. I think it's worthy of a ton of applause. There's really nothing bad about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, but it also was really made for the Symphony of Night fans, of which I definitely am one. But there was just better games out this year. Well, it doesn't matter to this list. I also want to just say that it did take them a long time to get that Switch patch out, which it sounds like they finally have, but dang, that one was a real pain. A second honorable mention is Sonic Mania. Now, Sonic Mania is an absolutely fantastic game. It got one of my perfect scores of this year. But the fact is I struggled with this list. I totally could put Sonic almost anywhere on this list, but the end result is I also could leave him off this list. Truthfully, if you like Sonic, you probably have already played this, and if you don't like Sonic for any reason, well, you definitely still should play this. It might surprise you. It's really a solid Sonic game, which is not something we get to say often. With those two out of the way, let's talk about the best of this year, and I do want to say one thing. The worst list I've had this year is absolutely firm in its order. It's exactly how I like it. The fact is, the top list this year is kind of fluid. Both of the honorable mentions have been on this list and off it at different points. I actually reshuffled it. My 4th and 5th game have shifted more times than I would imagine. So really, don't think of this as a firm worst to best. Think of this as just anyone on this list is worthy of a high praise. With that said, here's the list as it is right now. Starting with number 5, The Messenger. I grew up with the NES and Super NES. I played a ton of Ninja Gaiden back in the day. I played many games about ninjas, warriors, turtles who were ninjas, and mutants. But The Messenger is probably the best game of that style I've played in a long while. It had a great retro feel, but also an amazing style and design. I tried to remove The Messenger from my list a couple times just because to make room, and I couldn't find a reason to. It's just one of the best games I've played in a long time. It's completely rock solid in almost every way. The controls feel great, the gameplay feels fantastic, and the graphics look amazing. There's just nothing substandard here. And then there's the story. And, the story of The Messenger is probably why it's on this list in the first place. The writing was extremely well done, but not overbearing. The side conversations with the shopkeeper are something I hate in most games, but I couldn't wait to see another one in this one. It's a fresh style that, most narratives feel like they have to remove something from the game to make room for themselves. Here, The Messenger is extremely well executed. It can only add to the game, and it's done so well. Oh, and it's funny too, something that most games don't do well. Number 4, Slay the Spire. This is a card-based roguelike game. I don't know if I could ever not like this game, but the deck-building aspects alone are amazing with it, and it reminds me of playing Dominion with friends and family. If you've never played that, I definitely recommend it. The feeling that I wanted to keep playing one more game with Slay the Spire, rather than getting discouraged quickly, is absolutely great, and the feeling that each game is filled with different possibilities is an excellent addition. Slay the Spire is just pure fun to me, and I couldn't stop playing it. I have actually had to stop playing it at the end of the night for one quick game because I wound up staying up too late to get, just that one more game done and another one and another one. It's addictive, and as a roguelite, that's absolutely important. In addition, I have to say, each character plays extremely differently, and that's an interesting twist. A lot of games promise this. Oh, we have a fighter, we have a magic user, and we have a thief, and they'll be totally different, but they're not. Slay the Spire, though, delivers on this 100%, and it's an impressive feat. They even have a new fourth character that's now available on beta for free. I can't tell you how much that warms my heart. And I haven't even mentioned the mods that you can add in. If you want a labor of love, though, ignore the Steam's list right now, which is all just microtransaction games, and look at Slay the Spire. If you don't have this game, you don't get it. It's fantastic. Number 3, Celeste. Celeste seems like it's a simple platformer in a genre that's been quite common since that Italian plumber has dreams of royalty back on the NES. But Celeste is actually something else. It has a girl who can air dash one time in midair, and yeah, that still seems pretty simple. But what's done with this character and the simple abilities is absolutely amazing. Every level is impressive and unique, and so many interesting concepts are provided. It's a wonderful game and worthy of praise just for that art style or gameplay alone. But of course there's still more. The story of the game is another example of a developer having a good story while staying out of the way of the gameplay. But it's worth understanding and, again, very well done. I won't talk much about it, but it is extremely satisfying after you've played the game. The assist mode alone is probably something that every developer needs to understand. Giving the player a cheat or a way to beat the hard parts of a game doesn't make the game worse or remove the challenge necessarily. I've never heard anyone saying that this game is bad because it has assist mode, though a small indicator showing that you have used it wouldn't have been hated. But instead, you're allowed to play the game your way, and if that includes the assist mode, that's perfectly fine. This allows the developer to make harder levels, even if they're going to be impossible for what they think the average gamer might be able to do. Now, this was one of the perfect scores of this year, and it was well deserved when I reviewed it. But, similar to Slay the Spire, the developer has released yet another chapter since my review, and honestly, I can't even get past the first room of it yet. But kudos. We need more developers like this, and Matt makes games. Keep making games. This is wonderful. Number 2. Again, alright, this is my list, and honestly, this probably could have been my game of the year. Baba Is You. Now, if you like puzzle games, you really need to play Baba Is You. This is one of the most unique puzzle games I've ever seen. It's fun, interesting, and constantly surprising. Puzzle games are hard to make. If you don't do enough new things, players will just be repeating the same actions over and over. Whereas if you constantly change up the formula, players will struggle to keep up with you. Baba Is You actually finds the perfect cadence. Each area is a new and unique twist on the game, and each level is something you probably haven't seen before. But there's so many clever ways to do a lot of this game. Not every puzzle is perfect, of course, but at least 75% or more are absolutely amazing. Even puzzles you can solve fast are extremely well crafted and fun to play with, and there's so many puzzles in the game, over 200. They're just constantly interesting and challenging. The thing is, Baba Is You is just fresh. This is beyond a novel concept in puzzle games. It's a novel concept in gaming, and I love the idea of how Baba Is You can not only change the rules of the game itself in each level, but instead gives the player the ability to change these rules. Not even just an ability, but a necessity to change the rules to be able to win the level. I won't even talk about the endgame surprise, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, there's probably more for you to discover. This one was absolutely incredible. Alright. It's time for my game of the year. Now, yes, this game came out in 2019. I'm going to be honest, I actually struggled if I was going to give this one game of the year. But I love this game, and that's why it's here. Here it is. Yakuza Kiwami 2. Now, new viewers might not understand why this was a problem for me to give an award to, but the fact is, last year I awarded Yakuza 0 Game of the Year. It deserved it, absolutely. Still, I think it's incredible. But Yakuza Kiwami 2 is everything Yakuza 0 was, but better. It has a great storyline, amazing graphics, huge improvements to the series, such as giving a fluid transition between indoors and outdoors, amazing gameplay, and of course, Kiryu as a main character is always going to be great. And there's more, of course. It has one of the best villains in gaming, both believable and larger than life, a storyline that kept me just wanting to play more, and more side quests than ever before. I love this game so much, I actually made a montage of some of my favorite moments in it because I ended up with having too much footage for my review. That doesn't normally happen to me, obviously. Now, there are so many interesting moments with Yakuza Kiwami 2. There's so many pieces of the story that combine and form a better experience, and there's so many points where the player is not going to be able to guess what's going to happen next. It fixes the problems of the Yakuza Kiwami boss battles from the previous title. It gives the player more space to roam, it adds new mechanics that are fun and inventive, and it ties it all back to dealing with the same type of Yakuza situations that the series has always had. When I played Yakuza Kiwami at the beginning of the year, I was a little bit worried that I would have to award the same franchise a Game of the Year award again. Luckily, Celeste came out and I kind of knew Yakuza Kiwami wasn't going to win the best. But Yakuza Kiwami 2 presented the same issue for me, and I'm going to be honest, I tried not to make this the Game of the Year. The thing is, I just love Yakuza Kiwami 2 so much, as well as just the Yakuza series to the point where I felt like I would be lying to give anything else the Game of the Year award. This game is just fantastic. So I guess it's a yearly request from me. Sega, give us more Yakuza, especially if it's somehow like Yakuza Kiwami 2, and I'm going to be a happy customer forever. But at least I hope we can see Yakuza 3 next year, or Yakuza 6 on PC, or Judgment, or just something. For my fans, don't worry, this isn't going to be a yearly ritual, at least I hope not, but dear God, I hope you understand, Yakuza Kiwami deserved this crown this year, and if you're really angry, just pretend I gave it to Baba Is You. I think that also could have deserved it, and it almost got it for me. But if you somehow want to know the deciding factor for me, it was the hours I've played. Now, I put in over 200 hours into the Yakuza series, over 70 hours in Yakuza Kiwami 2, and there's still many more available, and I enjoyed every one of them. I did put in closer to 30 into Baba Is You, and it's still just as enjoyable. Both games were a hair away, but the fact that I put so many more hours into Yakuza Kiwami and the Yakuza series and still am having a blast with it, that was the decider for me. Now that is of course my list. Feel free to tell me down below what you think I'm right about, wrong about, or what games you love this year, even if I haven't played it yet. I'll take any suggestion and try to review it in the next year. Now I have talked about doing a new series as well, and I guess it's time to drop the information now. I've decided to do a series over the next 12 months. I'm going to review a series of games and look at a game a month to see how it's held up. We'll call them retrospective reviews. And for the first year, we'll be covering Sonic. Yeah, the Blue Blur is coming out with a movie. Let's find out how all of his games are. I will, of course, be limiting it to what's available on PC as much as I want to talk about, stuff like Sonic 06 or Sonic Boom. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll find a way to slip that in. But I'll have my first review out in January, as well as get a schedule for the entire year. There's more than 12 games, so it should work fine. And if you're interested in that, or just want to see which games are going to become eligible for next year's awards, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I will be popping up that worst of 2019 list and my awards from last year. I wonder who got number 1. Until next time, I'm King Link, and thank you for watching.